Okay, good morning. This is a video tape of a phone conversation with my mother. It establishes several points, that we've been talking about this technology for years, um, and that my mom knows about it. She knows about it because Horvat and her officers told her about it. You just don't hear her speaking of it here um, in this phone conversation, but we've had open conversations about this technology. She's never said that Horvat's told her about it. But what do I tell you? Uh, it's been just right out in the open in terms of everything else. And it's clear that she was told about it. There's no question of this. She knows all sorts of things as a point. In fact, they told her to tell me when they were stopping my book, oh, well, tell him, it'll go away next week or you'll be fine tomorrow, what have you. And what they're doing and what they have been doing over the years is trying to get my mom to accept more and more heavy behavior with this technology. And the point is, they told her to say that. And they had told her to say that as a way of trying to get her to accept more misuses of this technology being done on me. Um, so, again, there are many ways in which I know this. Anyhow, this is a cassette from my mother. They are affecting this cassette recorder right now, so it has a loud hum. They've also disabled my daughter's cassette recorder. They were making problems with the CD player, so she can't hear her favorite music when she wants to hear it. Um, and now they've just totally broken the cassette recorder. Now they're giving this one a hum. They started affecting it on and off, and then when I was making cassettes with important sound bites for German agencies, and now they do it all the time, especially if I try to play sound bites. At this point, I have a really good sound bite of me and my daughter, and they affected the cassette recorder when I made it so that you have to turn the volume up to hear me and my daughter speaking, but you could hear me and her speaking. That's the point. I was going to post a video, just have the volume turned all the way up, and people would be able to hear. Now they're affecting the cassette recorder when I try and play it, so you can't hear it at all. So I'm going to have to get a new cassette recorder. And the reason why they don't want me posting this cassette, me and my daughter speaking openly, is because it's very real and genuine, and you can tell. It was done in the moment, and you can tell that it's all very real and genuine. My daughter and I speak very much, and you can tell it's all real. So Horvat and our officers don't want any of that posted. So here's a cassette of me and my mother, and just try and bear with the sound quality. This establishes several different points. It establishes, important points here. So here we go. You can hear the hum, by the way. It's very loud. Yeah, well, it's the same. It's all the same problems I've been calling you up about for years with these agents and this technology. Well, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because I've had the tinnitus myself since 2006. Yeah, yeah, it's enough to make anybody crazy. So he's over last night. They gave it to him with tinnitus night and said something like, okay, what that's about, by the way, is that the night before, only about 7 hours before, they gave me loud tinnitus. And it was so loud, I asked my girlfriend if she could hear it. And again, they affected the cassette recorder there. You can't hear it. This cassette soundbite. But the point is, it's a lot more than coincidence. Horvat does this to be sick and sadistic, to rub herself in my face, look at what I'm doing with technology and getting away with. It's a lot more than coincidence. If you understood the sheer volume in terms of how much this happens in my life, my family's life, and with people around us, then you would understand that. It's just too much for it to be coincidence. And this is Horvat saying, look at what I'm doing and getting away with. And if I speak out about it, they can just use it to discredit me. So I get, I get screwed over here twice. Back to the cassette. Before she had given me very loud ringing in my ears to the point that I asked my girlfriend if she could hear something ringing. And then, the next morning, early in the morning, I'm talking to my mom, and she's talking about tinnitus. You could say it's coincidence, but if you actually understand more of that, then you understand that many things like this are not. The other thing is Horvat did it in a way that they normally do not. They gave this ringing in my ears very, very loud. So then the question is, did they affect my mom with techno into bringing that up?
Hey, good girl.
Or did they,
Hey, sweet.
or did they ask her to bring this up on her own? And in my opinion, my mom was affected into bringing that up. She was affected with technology, what have you.
Yeah, sure.
My impression was that she was told to bring that up. And again, I know my mom, and again, it looked like she wasn't told to bring it up, or that it simply affected my mother with technology. Another point, and quite literally got her to bring that up. And this is Horvat's way of giving science with this technology. And many times, they do things like this. And, it's too much of a coincidence. I rarely do they give me this loud ear ringing like they did the night before. And then, hours later, I called my mom up, and she's bringing up tonight. And ringing in the ears. So, and this is the way Horvat and our officers normally do. At a point or at a note here, we're expecting the state reporter to quite literally, they're giving a hiss to the whole entire set report so that these sound bites, can now come. And it's been communicated to me by Horvat and our officers, we're doing this because. Okay. I'm going to fast forward here. More than 1,000, at least 1,000 hours of me and my family talking about this technology. She hasn't played all of the times and moments and what have you that we've spoken about this technology being misused on us and each other. Okay, I'm going to fast forward yet again here. All over again by way of computer. Okay, just bear with me here, folks. I apologize. It also will show agencies more material to add about this. I'm cleaning up that chapter. Here we go. End up being this is with my mom. I've got so much more material to add about this technology. Look, when I contacted German agencies, I didn't even know this. It's hard to explain, Mom. But you asked me. We spoke before about well, why aren't German agencies doing anything? And I said to you, it's because they didn't invest it. And the whole point is, what I know you don't understand this, but they affected my emails very heavily with this technology. It was like being on peyote or angel dust. And so they are all screwed up. And I found out about this on November 26th when I called you up last year. I was just surprised. And that's an understatement. I was bombed out of my mind and shocked. They took the computer programs off of me. They took off this mix of feelings and everything that they had on me for affecting me. And later, me and my girlfriend went shopping at Real. And, if German agencies keep a record, you must have seen that I was walking around in Real. I was nodding my head and back and forth and kind of muttering to myself, and that's why. And my reaction was, when I found out that they'd spiked my emails to the BFL heavily, was shock. And then I thought, well, it's no wonder they didn't contact me. And then I thought, no one's going to believe this. And the point was, I had no idea how heavily I had been affected when I was in touch with the BFL, because they just left these extended feelings. I call this reverse scripting. It's techno viewpoints, techno emotional states pushed in. It's total mind rape. And I was just bombed out of my mind. But if German agencies have a record, their people were there at Real, and they must have noticed, But the point is, that's why I was that way when we went out shopping. And that's November 26th of 2011. I called my mom up within the hour and told her all about this. She's a witness to it. So back to the cassette here. The point is, I'm getting information ready for them again. And it's taken me almost a whole year since last year. Quite literally, it's been almost exactly a year since that call when I found out how screwed up my emails were. And, yeah. And, the point is, I can understand. I can really understand that. But the point is, they've been attacking me, slowing me down, and stopping me heavily, just those years, for the 2 years I was calling you up, telling you it doesn't just look like they're stopping my book, they are stopping my book. They've been doing the same thing with me trying to prepare cassettes and fact sheets for germination. And, I am almost ready, thank God. And then they gave me pneumonia with this technology. They burnt my chest. It's like a cigarette lighter being lit in your chest. It's painful. It's unpleasant. I tried calling the up. Okay, my mom's about to get into one of my aunts getting a weird pneumonia. They couldn't figure it out, and also my sister. And make of it what you will. There's a lot I could say here about this. Make of it what you will. Well, I got x-rayed, not last night, but the night before. Monica and I went to the hospital, and they kept giving me a certain pain in my chest. And it was done with this technology. I have my lungs are totally healthy, the woman said. I don't smoke. Not very long ago, and they finally figured out what was wrong with her. They decided it was pneumonia. They did a big x-rays and all that. They gave her antibiotics and cleared it up. Okay, here's another soundbite. There's nothing wrong with my lungs. Yeah, I've been having this chest pain, and the woman looked confused by what I was telling her. I told her it's in my right lung in particular. That's because they've been doing it with this technology. But now they're still making me sick. And it feels like pneumonia, and I'm going to have to go get my blood tested next. And they gave me pneumonia with this technology, and I think I have walking pneumonia. Well, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with Dana either. And she was there that always stayed. They took x-rays, they did all kinds of things. And then they finally came up with the diagnosis that it was pneumonia. Same thing happened to Aunt Kathy. And they finally came up with the diagnosis that it was pneumonia. But it's pneumonia, but it's different than any pneumonia I ever heard of. Right. When did Aunt Kathy get pneumonia? Oh, it was a while back. Okay. Davis was fairly recent. Uh-huh. And that was the same thing. And I told David, well, call Aunt Kathy because this is a strange pneumonia that affects you in other ways as well. And I can't remember. Dana had all these problems that didn't seem to be related to pneumonia. So when they finally gave her the antibiotics, everything was up. Huh. She had all these almost like muscular aches things. Uh-huh. And, well, that's weird. I don't know. It was weird. Yeah. I said, well, I never heard of pneumonia like that, but it was the same as that kid. Huh. They finally gave both of them antibiotics. They got cleared up. What my mom said there just a moment ago is that they both had this weird same pneumonia. So back to the cassette. That's weird. I gotta hang on. Okay, can't hear that. They've affected the cassette recorder so heavily. And I didn't bring it up once. I bring it up with okay, that's not going to work. Just please bear with me, folks. This will just take a moment here. So here we go. I want to ask you something. Huh? She's doing very well. She's doing very well in school. She just had one of the highest. Yeah. Hang on. I just want to ask you something, and then let's switch to your granddaughter here. There's all sorts of good news in regards to her. I want to ask you something. You still remember this night that I called you up about the ghost many years ago. That night where I was all angry at Monica, and I told you I caught the thought being pushed into my head like it was a ghost, and also the anger. And And you remember I said to you that it was, I thought it was like a ghost, right? You brought this up earlier this year, and the point is, Horvat and our officers have been lying about very much. As a matter of fact, look, there's an entire situation that happened out here, and I spoke to, quite literally, I spoke to a social worker, and I found out from her very many different things. And apparently, Horvat and our officers have lied like crazy in regards to uh, in regards to me. Uh, German agencies, as a point, I've been calling you up for many years, talking about calling up German agencies in regards to getting help from them and them catching Horvat and our officers. And they have, Horvat and our officers have German agencies convinced, quite literally, that I am hostile and angry with them. And that's ridiculous. I've called you up for years, you and also spoken to Monica about this for years, about contacting German agencies for help. And in terms of them being the good guys, I had never spoken poorly about German agencies. And I mean, this is just like one lie of many that Horvat and our officers have sold to German agencies. They've also sold that I'm still angry about this rape stuff. And I'm not angry about it. I haven't let it drop with you and Dad because I'm not a rapist. But the point is, I'm not angry about that. Okay, my mom began lying to Horvat. She'd obviously been told to. I have another tape which is contradictory to what she says here on the phone. And the reason why is because Horvat told her to lie. That's why. And there's a point, you hear me get angry at my mom about this in one video I did. And the point there is that, if my parents listened to this cassette of my ex-girlfriend on the phone talking about this stuff, they would realize that I'm innocent, and then they would realize I've been telling the truth all along about Horvat misusing this technology. They've been told and convinced that I am a rapist, and that is the centerpiece for convincing them also that I'm just a liar. And in regards to this technology, it looks like they've been told that I'm delusional, or I don't know. That's just it. They haven't been told that I'm delusional in regards to many of these things. Horvat got my mom to accept that they were misusing this technology on me. So that's an important point, actually. This is one of the things of many, by the way, that agencies don't know about. Agencies have been sold that I'm delusional, and it's different with my mother here. I can give some clear examples, of where my mom had been told to accept what was being done to me with this technology, and that's when they were stopping me from getting my book done. I called up and complained and yelled, kicked, and screamed many times, and Horvat kept selling my mother different excuses. This is what you read about when you read the beginning of my book, A Logical Guide to Seeing and Understanding Corrupt Politicians. The point is, that's what I'm speaking of at the beginning of that book, my second book. What agencies have been sold is different from what my witnesses were told over the years here. They didn't have a lie of delusional prepared for this cover-up. They weren't using that the entire time. They were quite clearly telling my girlfriend about them misusing this technology on me, and also my parents. And that's because there was no book. They weren't worried, and they're trying to get my girlfriend and my parents to accept this technology being misused on me more and more. They're trying to program my girlfriend and my parents into accepting more and more. And this is what you see me speaking of at the beginning of my second book. It wasn't until they needed a cover-up and until they had prepared one and came up with a cover story being delusional that they began selling it. And, it's too late. In regards to my parents and my girlfriend, they've been selling all sorts of other things instead. That's the point. And that's what I speak of at the beginning of my second book. I mean, Horvat and our officers are caught here based on what my mom knows and what my girlfriend knows. They are major witnesses, and this is what they prove. Anyhow, I'm going to let it get back to the cassette here. But it's, this is very important. And again, this is what you see me writing of at the beginning of my second book. Well, Horvat's misusing stock for getting my mom to take part in her cover-up. That's it, exactly. She's told my mom not to, speak certain things, you name it. And you see it here because in another phone call, it was something different. And they're affecting the microphone right now. And by the way, if my parents knew the truth, what I was saying earlier, if they knew the truth about this rape framing, they would realize I've been telling the truth all along about this technology and how heavily they've been misusing it on me and my family. And Horvat sold different lies and stories to my parents over the years here. And agencies would be shocked at the difference in stories that they've been sold compared to what my parents have been sold. And what my parents know as a point. That's the other end of it. My parents know things and have accepted some things that agencies don't know about. Horvat's hiding all sorts of things here. And again, if my parents knew the truth about this rape framing, they would realize that I've been telling the truth all along, that I'm the son they've always had. And then my dad, he'd be the first one. He'd say, okay, he'd call me up and say, okay, what do you want to do? And I'd say, well, I need you and Mom to contact German agencies and to tell them what you know. And then it would be finished. And Horvat and our officers know that, and I know that. And so what they've done is they've got my parents to not look at this cassette in one way, shape, or form. And it's as simple as them listening to that cassette to find out the truth. And it's really, this was really frustrating for me in the beginning. And then Horvat also hijacked that with technology. She doesn't let my anger, she doesn't let me be myself. She doesn't let me get to be myself in terms of any kinds of emotional states, whether it's happiness, anger, you name it. They hijack all of it. And it's sick and sadistic, and it's heavy and extreme. Quite literally, if I am normal angry, they have a computer program, it just jumps on you and just hijacks you, and just bumps it up, 4 or 5 times, even 6 times higher. It's just really, really heavy. So back to the cassette. It's another soundbite. Yeah, well, it's the same. It's all the same problems I've been calling you up about for years with these agents and this technology.
Believe me, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because I've had the tinnitus myself since 2006.
Yeah, tinnitus.
Yeah, it's enough to make anybody crazy. Well, I added that soundbite because this is about something Horvat's been doing since 2006. Once she revealed this technology, they unleashed very many attacks on me and my family with this technology. They obviously had saved quite a few ideas here, and then just started using all of them at once on my family. One of the things they've been doing from the very beginning, since they revealed this technology, has been tinnitus ringing in my ears every single night. This happens actually every single time I sleep, whether it's day sleep or night sleep. And this started off slowly. In the beginning, they only did it during my night sleep, and later they were also doing it during my day naps. And it's just been constant. And we're talking about for almost 7 years. Look at how heavy and extreme she is. This has been going on since 2006. And this is just one thing of many. And you see how she did it in stages. They did it first only with my night sleep, and then they were also doing it with my day sleep. And it was all of the time once they started doing that. And I remember this very well. It's just very unpleasant. And this has been going on for years on end, literally every single day. But look at how heavy and extreme she is. Now here's another soundbite. The reason why the microphone, so that if I post cassettes and video, I will have to stay there the whole time to make sure that the volume is loud enough. This is why they're going this way. They're just trying to make it more and more difficult to get anything done here. This next part is also about tinnitus. Now, my mother brought this tinnitus up on the phone, and the thing that... Okay, this repeats, so I'm going to fast forward here. As you can see, they're affecting the cassette recorder very heavily here. I'm cleaning up that chapter. Here's another sound. I mean, look, when I contacted German agencies, I didn't even know this. It's hard to explain, Mom. But you asked me. We spoke before about well, why aren't German agencies doing anything? Okay, this is a repeat. I'm gonna let this play because the sound recording's a lot better. And I said it's because they didn't investigate. And the whole point is what I know you don't understand this, but they affected my emails very heavily with this technology. It was like being on peyote or angel dust, and so they are all screwed up. And I found out about this on November 26th when I called you up last year. I was just surprised. And okay, I am going to fast forward here, and you can tell the difference in sound quality. Same thing with me trying to prepare cassettes and fact sheets for German agents. And I am almost ready, thank God. And then they gave me pneumonia with this technology. They burnt my chest. And that gets into the whole subject of pneumonia again. I've got a few more sound bites here, which are very important. Out my natural state of being here and pushing emotions. Horvat officers are really pushing me. I'm being attacked all of the time. I'm heavily sleep deprived. They push in emotions, not mine. And they do it just as a form of torture. They push out my natural state of being here and push in emotional states that aren't mine. They'll switch this many times inside of 1 hour. And this can go on for hours and hours. It can go on all day. It can go on for days at a time. That's recently what I've experienced, actually. And it's really heavy. So they've pushed me back into smoking, but I have the intent. Stop smoking and everything. Well, then this gets into, this goes on further here. I was telling her, there's nothing wrong with my lungs. Yeah,
It's pneumonia. And it was the same thing, and I told David, well, call it.
So there are some points right there, and that's weird. I gotta hang on. But getting back to other points, you see that there's several different things here. You see that I brought up with my mother before, and that's the other end of it. This is not simply me telling my parents about this. Horvat or officers telling my parents about this technology.